Zaldrizes Buzdaris Gosdau.
House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 3 is going to be coming here in a few days. I'm saying Season 1 because, if you're unaware, Season 2 was in fact confirmed just last week. It's really exciting news. If you agree with me, type a flame emoji down below in the comment section. But with 2 episodes under our belt, there's 2 big things that are, just boiling over in my mind. Now, I've already dropped an Episode 3 promo breakdown and 2 different types of Episode 2 breakdowns. One of them is an hour-and-a-half long live stream. It's linked down below in the description. And the other one is for people who like a little bit of a shorter type of content. That's like 12 minutes long, and I picked my favorite scenes, 4 of them, and discussed those in further detail. You can do a mix of both and watch a little bit of both videos if you'd like. All that's linked down below in the description. The only reason why I'm saying this and promoting my own content and asking for likes and asking for people to subscribe so much is because YouTube is literally delisting, or what's called shadow banning, my videos. And I've explained this in my last video, so I'm not going to spend that much time here. But basically, it just means that all of my House of the Dragon content doesn't even show up in the algorithm. Like, if you've watched my videos before, you'll probably get a few promoted to you. Long story short, if you're a fan of my content, one of the best ways to help me out right now while House of the Dragon is on is by sharing this video on every single social media platform and just, slapping a like and subscribing and leaving a comment, because it lets YouTube know, hey, even though you're trying to shadow ban this dude, we still want to watch his stuff. Let's help it get out there. Okay, so first things first. I watched the confrontational scene between Rhaenyra and Daemon, which I dubbed a mock Dance of Dragons, right? Because anybody who's an average show watcher or anybody who hasn't read Fire and Blood might have thought that Rhaenyra and Daemon were going to show down right then and there. And they also probably got a false sense of security about the hatred between them, as if it's even real. They're sort of like sexually teasing each other. And I know it's kind of weird to say because it's the younger version of Rhaenyra, but ultimately the two of them will get together. The reason why that scene was really interesting is because, like I said, that's not in the books. That scene does not happen in Fire and Blood, and it's something that the show has sort of made up and made both of these characters more dynamic and more, to put it plainly, interesting. Now, there were 2 things that stood out to me. They're not necessarily related, but the first one is the way that Daemon sort of just wraps his arms around the egg. It's really funny. Matt Smith, you're doing a bang-up job playing this character. Let's call him Dame, right? Prince Dame. Right? Prince Dame of the city. But then the other thing was how carelessly Daemon threw the egg. Like, when you watch it in slow motion and when you, just zoom in on it, when we get a close-up of the actual dragon egg, you look at the bottom of it, and at first glance, it kind of looks like moss. Like, I've mentioned that in my past couple of videos. But now, after further inspection, it's not moss. That wouldn't even make sense. Like, yes, Dragonstone is an island. It's a volcanic island. Also, why would moss be growing in the caves where everything's hot and dry, right? That just wouldn't make sense. What this is, and I had to go back and watch the promotional videos that came out, the behind-the-scenes stuff. I think this one is called Returning to Westeros in particular. But if you'll notice, we get to see this, cloaca-like slime, right? So when a bird has an egg, there's, this nasty, slimy stuff around it, right? So same with dragons. That's what that stuff is on the bottom. That's what that green stuff is. And right after Rhaenyra catches the egg, she puts it in a kiln, and what's gonna happen? It's gonna incubate. It's gonna heat up. It's most likely gonna change colors, and it's probably gonna change it to the color golden. The reason why I say that is because that's Aegon II's dragon. Hear me out. It's very simple. That egg that was just birthed at Dragonstone was supposed to be the king's son's dragon egg. Well, guess what? Baelon died with his mama, Emma Arryn, in the first episode. So naturally, now that we've seen previews for House of the Dragon Season 1, Episode 3, right, and we've seen Aegon 2, it just makes sense that that egg that was returned to Rhaenyra is going to be put into her brother's crib, and it's going to become Sunfire the Golden. And you're like, oh, well, the egg's green, and it's got, this shiny black color. That's because all dragon eggs, when they come out, and all dragons in general, their base color seems to be black / this green serpentine color, right? So if that's the case, they all change colors as they age. As the dragon egg incubates, you get to see what color it's going to be. And yes, specifically in the books, a dragon's color, when it grows up and starts flying around and shit, is reflected in the color of its scales. But like I said, this egg is super shiny. It's probably super new, and that's why it hasn't turned golden yet. But you're like, dude, why are you spending so much time? If you're an average show watcher and you haven't watched any of my videos, right? One of those 2 things. You're probably like, dude, why are you spending so much time on this? That's a cool connection that you made. Whatever. Include it in your videos. Let's keep it moving. The reason why I'm saying this is because, spoiler alert, Rhaenyra is going to be killed by Sunfire. So that kind of just adds a whole nother dynamic to that scene when he's munching on her later. And it's actually kind of crazy because Sunfire refuses to eat Rhaenyra at first, and one of the King's guards of Aegon has to cut her titty, and then the dragon's drawn to it by its blood. Now Sunfire's been through a bunch of shit, like it's in completely missing wing and it can't even fly at this point. But it's gonna be so crazy to watch this, and it's only a few years away because this show's only going to be 3 or 4 seasons. It's going to be nuts. Aegon 2, you son of a gun. And then also, lastly, this is going to blow your mind. No, I'm just kidding. But look at the setting. Rewatch the scene yourself. I can't play it because of YouTube's algorithm. I'll get, demonetized as well as shadow banned. But literally, the sun is everywhere, behind everybody's head. As soon as Rhaenyra catches the egg, the sun is behind her, screaming Sunfire. As soon as the camera pans out and we see the end of the scene, the sun is in the background. It's letting us know that egg is Sunfire. Fire. Why do I keep saying sunflower? I'm thinking about gardening and shit. That egg is Sunfire, and ultimately Sunfire eats Rhaenyra. It's so crazy. This is gonna be nuts because Rhaenyra's probably gonna walk across that same bridge when she comes back to Dragonstone at the end of this series, and she thinks she's safe, but she's not because Aegon's there waiting for that ass. Oh my god. Alright, now the last thing I want to quickly address in this video before getting out of here is from a patron of mine. His name is Sir Callum Sims, and he says, "What's up, Sir Hunts? Thank you for all the recent content. I look forward to it just as much as I do the House of the Dragon episodes." Thank you, dude. Thank you. Even though YouTube's like shadow banning my channel, reading stuff like this is amazing because it makes me realize that I still have people that enjoy the videos I make. So before I actually answer Callum's question, I just want to recommend to him and to everybody that's watching this right now, I've done a video on what I think is going to happen with White Walkers for House of the Dragon, not just for season 1, but in general. Go and watch that. I released that like a week and a half ago, and it's linked down below in the description. Alright, so basically Callum is saying that since we know that the Prophecy of Ice and Fire is something that Aegon 1 had, it's highly unlikely that it survived. And this is not verbatim, I'm just sort of summarizing what Callum says. But basically, all of these kings that we had in between Aerys II, who is the Mad King, who is Daenerys' father, right? All of the kings that we had between him and Aegon I, it's hard to believe that the prophecy would be kept alive that long. So maybe the reason why the Mad King became the Mad King, and actually kind of addressed this in last night's live stream, but the reason why the Mad King became the Mad King is because he saw Aegon's vision. And that's because he knew, and Sir Callum says he knows that, they don't have any dragons, so maybe this is why they place Wildfire under the set. That's a really good theory. Now that we know, a Prophecy of Ice and Fire, or a Song of Ice and Fire that Rhaegar knew was a thing, it's quite possible that his father, the Mad King, knew this as well. I want to kind of leave this open-ended, because like I said, I made a video on it, and I also addressed it last night, in last night's video. You all let me know what you think. Do you think it's possible? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you for watching. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Alone Night Review. Oh yeah, one of the benefits of placing Wildfire, just further responding up to Callum's question here, he's a Patreon producer of mine. If you're unaware, Patreon is just a way for me to further combat YouTube shadow banning my channel. You can give as little as 99 cents a month, and any little bit really counts. But basically, we're placing the Wildfire underneath the sept and the Mad King saying burn them all makes a lot of sense, especially if you've seen glimpses of White Walkers. And it's like, you kind of don't have a dragon to ride, so the only thing you can do is burn them all. Eventually, the Night King or the Mad King probably saw the White Walkers making their way all the way down south, which something similar may in fact happen in the books.